These deaths weren't just gruesome. They rewrote history. 5. Crassus, the billionaire who got a golden mouthful. Imagine being so rich. Rome basically invented fire insurance just to stop you from buying all the burnt-down houses. That was Marcus Licinius Crassus, one-third of the legendary First Triumvirate, alongside Pompey the Great and some guy named Julius Caesar. Crassus was Rome's Elon Musk, minus the tweets, but with way more crucifixions. He wasn't just rich, he was obscenely rich. But Crassus had a problem. His ego was bigger than his wallet, and that's saying something. He wanted glory, war trophies, blood-soaked street cred, and that's how he ended up in the middle of a desert, fighting people who literally drank horse blood to survive. It's 53 BCE. You're standing in the scorching sands of Carrhae, modern-day Syria. Crassus has brought 35,000 Roman soldiers into Parthian territory, aka horse archer hell. His opponents? The Parthians, led by a general named Surena, a man with more eyeliner and military IQ than Crassus had sense. The Romans expect a traditional battle. The Parthians send in 10,000 mounted archers who rain arrows like machine guns. Crassus's legions are stuck. No water, no glory, no idea what the hell is happening. Then Surena pulls out his secret weapon, cataphracts, heavily armored cavalry with lances that look like medieval railguns. Crassus? Toast. Crassus is tricked into parleying. Hey, just talk, no swords, they said. So Crassus shows up, diplomatic and desperate, only to get grabbed, stabbed, and utterly humiliated. But here's the legendary part. They allegedly poured molten gold down his throat. Symbolic, savage, cinematic. Here, Crassus, you wanted wealth? Choke on it. Whether or not the golden gulp is true, some historians debate it. The idea of it was so poetic, it stuck. His death became anti-capitalist propaganda for centuries. And that's how the richest man in Rome died thirsting, not for water, but for clout. 4. Hypatia, the philosopher torn to shreds by fanboys. Let's set the stage. Alexandria, Egypt, 415 CE. You're living in one of the ancient world's most educated cosmopolitan cities. Libraries, science, debate. And at the center of it all, Hypatia, a woman smarter than 90% of the Roman Empire's philosophers combined. She's a mathematician, astronomer, Neoplatonist philosopher, basically the original STEM queen. But she made one fatal mistake: being brilliant, female, and political in a city run by angry men in robes. Alexandria is on the verge of becoming a powder keg of religious tension, pagans versus Christians, science versus dogma. And Hypatia? She's respected by the intellectual elite but hated by the street mobs, especially the ones following Cyril, the Christian bishop who's slowly turning Alexandria into a theocracy. She refuses to convert. She refuses to back down. She becomes the ultimate target. The death. One day, a Christian mob, probably aligned with a radical sect called the Parabolani, drag her out of her chariot. They strip her naked. They flay her with roof tiles. Then they rip her limbs off and burn what's left. All because she represented free thought. A woman standing between reason and rising religious extremism. Her death wasn't just tragic. It symbolized the end of classical antiquity and the beginning of Europe's slide into the Dark Ages. A brilliant light snuffed out by fanaticism, with broken tiles and bare hands. She didn't die in a blaze of glory. She died in the gutter, and her death echoed across centuries as a warning. Don't think too loudly in a world ruled by mobs. 3. Thomas Becket. When a friend becomes a bloody martyr. Thomas Becket started as a hype man for the English king. Think, bestie, drinking buddy, trusted advisor. Then Henry II made a mistake. He made Thomas Archbishop of Canterbury, thinking he could control him. Spoiler, he could not. It's 1170. England is medieval and miserable. Becket and Henry were bros, until church politics got in the way. Henry wants more control over church matters. Becket? Suddenly all about holy rules and divine authority. Their bromance crumbles. Henry's like, why won't this dude just fall in line? And then, maybe after a few too many goblets of wine, Henry allegedly says the most dangerous drunken line in history. Will no one rid me of this turbulent priest? The death. 4 knights hear that and go full GTA side mission. They ride to Canterbury Cathedral, corner Becket during evening prayers, and, in the most unholy fashion possible, slice the top of his skull off. So violently, in fact, that his brains spilled onto the floor of the church. A literal brain dump in a church. The knights thought they'd done a favor. Instead, they turned Becket into a martyr saint and Henry into a guilt-ridden meme of medieval politics. Becket's tomb became a massive pilgrimage site. The king had to publicly whip himself in penance. And just like that, one death rewrote the balance of power between church and state.